So good morning. My name is David Kakishiba, running for school board director representing District 2 for Oakland Unified School District. Some people may know that I previously served on the Oakland School Board. I left about 8 years ago, and I have watched the school district over that period of time. I served as the first chair of the Measure N Commission, the College and Career Readiness for All Act, that a parcel tax measure for high schools. And I currently serve as the chair for the Measure G1 Commission. And from afar, I've seen what's been going on in the school district. And I am not very happy with how things have been proceeding. Academic achievement for young people is still not too much different from when I first got on the school board in 2002, 20 years ago. And I think that there is a lack of focus, there is a lack of a strategy, and certainly a lack of leadership discipline to get the kinds of gains that I believe that our teachers and our principals are able to get with young people. My entire life has been dedicated to supporting children and youth and families. And schools are a huge part of that ecosystem. And that supporting good schools supports good young people to grow up to be great, fantastic adults. And that's why I'm running.
Thank you. Here's your next question. What current programs/proposals do you feel are successful? What would you keep and build on? What would you cut?
Well, I would say that the College and Career Readiness Act, the Measure N, is showing significant promise in its capacity to help schools and support high schools to build out high quality career pathways and provide that to every 10th, 11th, and 12th grader at their school site. And that the things that certain measures like the graduation rate, the A through G completion rate, the dropout rate, the earning of college credit while still in high school, all of those are going up and the dropout rate is going down. And there is a method to the madness, if you will, on that. And unfortunately, the school district as an institution is not really learning from that experience and learning the lessons and doubling down on those investments and on those structures that are largely teacher and principal driven reforms in our high schools, building on the experience that Oakland teachers have been doing well into the late 1980s, in building career pathway programs. And so I think that is showing some promise. It has major implications in my mind about massive structural reform in the school district, things that I don't believe that are currently being discussed or are recognized by leadership within the district.
Thank you. Next question. Will you commit to rejecting donations and support from privatization-linked organizations such as Go Public Schools and the California Charter School Association?
Yes, that's not a, yeah, I don't see any, what do you call it, interest in receiving contributions from those sources.
Thank you. Here's your next question. What is the role of the school board? What is the role of an individual school board director? What should the relationship be between the board and the superintendent?
In Oakland, because there's the standard role and function of school boards that the California School Board Association or the National School Board Association would tell every district. But in the context of the city of Oakland, I believe that the school board's role should be one that is focused on a racial and social equity agenda that is going to focus on a set of goals and a theory of change and a resource allocation and the identification of both school leadership and district leadership that's going to drive the entire system to be able to close the outcome gaps, learning outcome gaps that we see, or differences that we see among young people throughout the city school district. The school board has to be on top of goals, theory of change, and public accountability for results, for both implementation and for learning outcomes. The school board, and where that plays is in two big areas. One is the day-to-day supervision and management of the superintendent. And secondly, the broader allocation of resources through the budgeting process. And I would say one third thing is that school board has to be focused on schools. It cannot be focused on a lot of the issues that it has been for. So we adopt school plans every year on the consent agenda, all 80 school plans, and nobody has cracked open those plans to look at what are schools saying that they are doing and what they're and how they're spending their money. That is criminal. That is a height of negligence on the part of public governance.
Thank you. Next question. Do you commit to voting against any school closures? Other than school closures, what are 3 specific ways you can respond to possible funding shortfalls in the budget?
In general, and specifically the last round, yes, I am opposed to school closures, but in every single instance, no, I cannot commit to that. There could be situations where there are schools that have dramatically lost their enrollment. I have not seen it that closely, but let's take the community day school as an example. I was there on the school board under state administration when State Administrator Randy Ward established the community day school. And we established the community day school because at that time, when we had 50,000 plus students, and we did not have restorative justice, we did not have PBIS, we did not have community school approach, that we were expelling close to 100 students a year. There are close to 100 students in Oakland Unified that were being farmed out to the county day school program. The state administrator looked at that data, decided to establish a day school program within the district. Now, if it is true that our population at the day school is hovering around a dozen students, I would say that the district reforms around restorative justice are working, and that the need for a community day school is not terribly high, and that our ability to work with the county day school programs that are located in Oakland, or actually even take responsibility for the day school campus, is something that I think is in the best interest of not the school district as an institution, but is in the best interest of both students and for schools in general, because it's all intertwined. And so in that sense, I think it's important to not have an absolute, but certainly when I was asked my opinion around the last round of proposed school closures, I was asked by school board members, I was asked by the superintendent, and I stated that I did not agree with it based on my past experience as a school board member who actually voted for the closure of 5 schools in 2012. And the result of savings, financial savings, was simply not there. And that and the data that's being presented today is simply not there. And so I do not have trust or faith that the school district, that if there is an ability to redirect those resources and reinvest that, and I've been told by board members they want to reinvest that into teacher compensation. If that has not been codified in a side agreement at the outset, then we know that's just bullshit. And that it's, you know, we need to stop playing games in that way. And so I don't support it on that basis.
Thank you. Here's your next question. What do you see as the effects of charter schools on OUSD students? And what do you believe should be the relationship between OUSD and the charter sector?
I believe that there are some charter schools that over time, you know, since the emergence of the state law and the emergence of charter schools in Oakland, I would say there are a number of charter schools that have not done very well for students in terms of getting the kinds of academic and social outcomes that I believe young people deserve. And at the same time, I believe that there are some charter schools that are getting good results. And so in that sense, it's a mixed bag, and it's actually a microcosm of Oakland Unified. That we have some district schools that are not achieving those outcomes, and we have some district schools that are in fact beating the odds. And so having said that the grand experiment of charter schools as being a major driver of school reform, I would say is really not there. I think that now after 20 plus years of the reform effort, there are clearly organized national forces that do not believe in publicly or public education as we know it in the United States, that they would like to privatize public education for whatever reasons, whether it's for profit or for simply serving the few, rather than it being a universal basic right to all residents of the United States. I believe that reform is in great need of reform. I think the relationship of the charters to the school district is that the local school districts should have absolute authority of whether or not new charter schools are to be approved or charter schools are to be reauthorized. I believe that charter schools should be in the context of any approvals around conditions. So to the extent that we have an attendance boundary-based, place-based assignment of students, whether it's at elementary or middle or high school, that I believe to the extent that the charter may apply for a lottery approach, a complete choice system of enrollment. But I think the local school district, school board should have the authority of saying yes or no or modified, because the school board is responsible for, in fact, the entire ecosystem of public schools in their jurisdiction. And the state is not. The state is playing no real role in oversight or managing things at the local level. It cannot do that in California. It's simply too big and too big of a bureaucracy and too big of a state and too many people. And that anything like a charter operation has to be in the full jurisdiction of the local school board.
Thank you. Next question. Could you describe some examples and sources of environmental racism in your district and say how they have affected OUSD students, parents, and educators? What commitments can you make toward combating the disproportionate impacts of pollutant exposure on OUSD students, parents, and educators?
When you say district, are you talking about District 2 or are you talking about the school district?
District 2.
District 2. Well, what was brought to my attention before was the Lakeview Elementary School campus, where prior to the construction or after the construction of that school was the construction of the 580 freeway. And that if you know the Lakeview campus, you know it's very close proximity and including elevation level is the same as the freeway, and that the noise and the physical pollutants are quite high on the Lakeview campus. And I have been approached by environmentalists as well as transportation engineers in the past about that it is not appropriate for a school to be located in that area or a functioning school in that area. We took no action on that. In fact, it never elevated to any kind of legislative action. The closure of Lakeview had nothing really to do with the environmental aspect of it, but it's a very real issue. And if you're ever on the Lakeview campus and in the building, as I had been, it's quite loud, and the physical conditions for both teachers and for students and families, it's not good in terms of being able to function outside using any of that property for those kinds of educational purposes. And that's probably one of the things that come out quite sharply. I do not know what the conditions of our plumbing and our pipe systems in our schools. Roosevelt is about to go through a $70 million renovation. I don't know what the inspection has revealed about the condition of lead in water pipes in the plumbing system, or about any kinds of toxic substances that might be in the soil or in the construction facades. So I don't have an update on that. But it's a very old building. And in fact, it was not constructed as a school. I believe way back when it was once a juvenile detention facility. And we have the health center that's located in the basement area. It's something for us to take a look at very closely in all of the facilities planning and construction work.
Thank you. Here's your next question. How would you partner with the Oakland community, students, families, educators, classified staff, unions, community organizations, etc., around issues facing our schools, in particular when making controversial or difficult decisions?
So as any local elected official, particularly in Oakland, let me just say for Oakland, And if you're on the Oakland School Board, the fact of the matter is that social capital and organized social capital, you will see in the hills. And so an elected official doesn't have that much effort to do to engage community parent organizations, civic organizations, business organizations, anything above the 580 freeway. But where the vast majority of District 2 schools reside, with Chinatown, Eastlake, San Antonio, parts of Fruitvale, there's very little organization. And in fact, in District 2, there are more grassroots community organization than in other districts in Oakland Unified. But in terms of rank and file parents, it's very, very difficult to figure out. And that's why school board members have in the past been not terribly responsive to the needs, concerns, and issues that the vast majority of families are facing. I have worked in this neighborhood, in the San Antonio, Eastlake, and Chinatown neighborhoods, Fruitvale neighborhoods, for the last 42 years in my role with the East Bay Asian Youth Center, better known as EBASI. And so working with the different coalitions that exist in Chinatown, there's emerging coalitions in the San Antonio Eastlake area and the Fruitvale area, and then with them getting in front of rank and file parents, rank and file young people, and those who are working with young people is something that I regularly engage in, whether I'm on the school board or not. That's my day-to-day experience. In terms of organized labor, I believe that I have always had I sought out conversations, ongoing kind of a collaboration around policy issues, an exchange of ideas and opinions, both good and both those that were tension-filled. But the important thing is engagement. And I believe I had very strong relationships with every single OEA president and vice president and executive director, except for, and I'm blanking on her name, but she was there for the first year or two under state administration. And I did not have much interaction with her at that time. But I would hope that I would be able to have a regular, ongoing, consistent sit down with the Oakland Education Association leadership, with the SEIU leadership, ASME, UAOS leaders to discuss, again, ongoing issues, both that are in the grievance level as well as the broad policy level. I would also like to ask all the bargaining units an opportunity to be able to get in front of rank and file members and leaders of your unions, so that the engagement is broad-based and multi-tier.
Thank you. And would you like to add any closing remarks?
I'm sure there are a lot of people that might be in the mix that are going, David Kakishiba, he was on the school board for 12 years, left 8 years ago. Why in the hell would he want to come back onto the Oakland School Board? And OEA had endorsed me in my first go round in 2002. This was prior to the state takeover. I think that they took no position in the following two elections, but I ran unopposed in those following two elections. I worked with OEA leadership to continuously engage them in parcel tax campaigns that I was the principal leader of. One was Measure L in 2010 It was essentially a teacher compensation measure that could have brought between 6 and 8% salary increase. We barely lost that election, probably by less than 1,000 votes. And then on Measure N, I have continuously sought out a what do you call it, a formal partnership with the Oakland Education Association on big ticket agenda items that I believe advance the interests of both teachers as well as students and families. Only together can we collectively realize the kinds of outcomes that we all want for Oakland's young people. My wife is an Oakland High School teacher. She's been in the game for probably a dozen years. And my two children, our two children, were educated in our neighborhood schools, La Escuelita, Roosevelt, and Oakland High School. They graduated and they were served very well by Oakland Unified teachers. And I appreciate and I thank them for that work with them, the love and care that they gave to our children. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.